Once again, we are back on Egmont Sochki ttalk, train of thought with a series of an episode with Professor Brigadier GPS Cheema from Indian Army. I think it's a great insight to what we're getting from his story. At age of 20 years, he joined the armed forces and he navigated through the learning process and the experience of what he had. It's a great insights what we can correlate with the corporate world also. So once again, welcome to this episode. Now, in fact, the challenges while being part of the Indian Army, can you throw some light on turning around some of an organization within while you were on job?
Okay, life would become very boring if there are no challenges. And you come to know about your true potential only once you face the challenges. Unless the tea leaves are put into hot water, the actual color doesn't come.
Correct.
Right? So you have to go through those testing times.
Mm-hmm.
And those testing times are the best times of your life.
Mm-hmm.
When you look backwards, then you realize that all those testing times were there with a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? So in my case, what happened that I was told to take over an organization which I was never a part of, and I landed up in a place where I was received, and so the person who received me, by a time from the railway station till the place we reached, he had to tell me all the stories that whatever was wrong with the organization. And I was taking over as the head of that organization. And without knowing what I was heading in for. Well, that happened, and my predecessor was a great man. He was moved out much before his normal tenure. It was cut short, and I was brought in there. So that was the situation. There were issues pertaining to people's issues, interpersonal relationship issues, and also the equipment issues related to the operational readiness of the equipment. I said fine. So once I went there, I took over. So I went in for the interview of my boss, and he says, heartiest congratulations on taking over, but we are thinking of disbanding this organization.
Mm-hmm.
I said, good. Then I thought to myself, I said, look, if they are thinking of disbanding this organization, that means it's already hit the rock bottom.
Okay.
So what happens if somebody drowns, it goes and touches the bottom, and then the body floats up.
Correct.
Right? I said, we have no other choice but to now float up.
Correct.
Right? So we'd all enjoy it. Right? So no issues. So once started the tenure from there, and while my predecessor was handing over the unit to me, he gave me a bunch of keys, and he said, this is the cupboard which was there in his office, and says this contains folders about each of the people who've been creating problems or the complaints, and it was one cupboard full of that.
So
all problem areas. He was senior to me. I said, he had opened the cupboard like this. I said, sir, would you mind closing the cupboard? And he closed it. I said, would you like to lock the cupboard? He locked the cupboard. I took the keys, put in the drawer, and I locked the drawer.
Right, so the problems are there.
Right? And I made a promise to myself, I am never going to open this cupboard.
Yeah. Start from fresh.
Right. So I spoke to all the people there sitting there, their cases were inside the cupboard. I said, I am not going to look at it. From my side, we can even burn that cupboard. Mm-hmm. You have a clean slate. It's up to you what you want to write on that. Yeah. And I said, I am not here. I am only a head of this organization because responsibility is mine. Mm-hmm. But you are the organization. You run it the way you want to run it. Mm-hmm. Authority is with you. Yeah. If something goes wrong, I did wrong. And if something goes right, you did it right.
You did right. So you're the winner both the way.
Right. And I said, it's up to you. If you want to work with me, so much the better. And if you don't want to work with me, you can leave within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Choice is yours. We started our innings from there. I was there in that organization for almost 3 years. And we did all the things. We were deployed for various things, the best of things happening in operations. In those 3 years, there were not a single complaint.
So started.
There were not a single problem. And we had taken up a case at a very serious level for which I had to go and meet the defense minister in his office.
Nice.
And the defense minister thereafter said, I will follow it up. And within 1 week he followed it up. I had to meet him again at some place. No name, it was all confidential. So we met again exactly after 1 week in that place. And we had a meeting where I was the junior most guy and headed by the defense minister there. And when the meeting was over, he got up from there, walked up to the last part of the table and shook hands with me. He said, I am proud of your organization.
All the work done by the unit.
I said, thank you very much. We are striving hard to remain professional.
That's how you work towards an excellence.
Right. And whatever we are projecting here, I'm sure wherever the problems are, you can look into those problems and resolve those issues. Mm-hmm. Right? Whatever level we reached, whatever we achieved, whatever we did, my contribution was maybe 0.1%. But 99.9% it was by the same people who were branded bad. Mm-hmm. Same people who branded as culprits. Mm-hmm. Same people whose all the history sheets are put in the cupboard. Right? They're the people who drove the whole thing. They're the people who achieved everything. And at the end of the whole activity, when we did that, we were tested for about 3-4 days and in the operational conditions, and then in writing it was given by the topmost authority that we are the fittest organization.
So right, we have gone to the real bottom, and I think you lifted it up.
And what I'm trying to say is, as a leader, you can never do it alone. Not possible.
Correct. Yes, sir.
You have to trust your people to gain their trust.
Correct.
Unless you trust somebody first, nobody will trust you.
If you doubt them, then there's a problem.
Yeah. And then another thing is, you give them a task of what is to be done. Don't tell them how it is to be done. Right? And lastly, I would say that unless you set your standards very high, you'll never be able to achieve excellence.
Correct.
Right. If you set your standards low, like my mentor used to tell me, he said, if you set garbage as your standard, you will get only garbage in life. And if you set your standard as excellence, you will get nothing less than excellent.
Excellent.
And another thing is, as a leader, your job is not to lead, not at all. As a leader, your job is to create more leaders.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So you tell everybody that you are a leader in your own domain. Do what you feel is right.
Correct.
The organization needs this. See how you can pitch yourself to achieve that thing for the organization.
Correct.
The kind of creativity, the kind of commitment, the kind of dedication, the kind of work that person will do will be beyond your expectation and your imagination.
Correct.
And I have yet to come across a person who has not surpassed my expectations.
I think that's an excellent way of motivating the team and having a trust in them and taking to the next level.
Yeah, it is their organization.
Correct.
You are there just to guide them.
Oh, I see. That's what the leader does in creating a more leader. That's what learning from military is all about. They create and leaders within a unit to go to the next level. I think if I've got a confidence on the resources, I'm sure they are more accountable and responsible to give an end result. So it was an excellent on-job, like turning around one of an organization by Professor Brigadier.GPS Cheema. Just watch up and follow up Professor Brigadier.GPS Cheema in the next episode on ttalk with Soch. Till then, go to www.ttalk.net, subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. So thanks a lot for listening to this. Thank you very much.